Okay, I hope my screen is visible to you. Again, like I'm having a very bad throat today as well. Okay.
What happened, sir?
Like what happens now whenever I would be drinking cold water now, so I get some irritation, some problem in my throat. And you know the weather, it's too hot here in India. Okay. Right now, like the temperature is quite high. Okay, so we were
Okay, sir.
learning about the structure of the flame, right? So we learned that flame consists of three different parts or three different zones. Zone or part, same thing. We have the innermost zone, middle zone, and the outermost zone. We did learn about them, and we were going to discuss about the different activities, right? And these activities are namely going to be based upon the following things. Like it will be meant to show that the innermost zone contains burnt wax particles, right? Now another activity would be to show that this uh, this middle zone, okay na, it contains carbon particles, okay, and the outermost zone is the hottest. So these are the activities which we are going to discuss about, okay na, Priyanka? I think with this activity we already have discussed. Hey Bhubakar, how are you? So the activity was
Assalamualaikum, sir. Sir,
Waring Slam. Yeah. So to act this activity we have discussed in the last class, it was to show that the innermost zone of a candle flame consists of unburnt wax vapors. Right? Now, unburnt wax vapors. You guys know when you are burning a candle, so the wax converts into wax vapor, right now, and it's the wax vapor that burns to give out the light. Both of you, please turn your cameras on in the class. Priyanka, is the network issue resolved? Voice is reaching properly to you, and you can understand.
Yes.
Okay. Or is it that if you were to turn your camera on, then my voice won't be reaching you? There'll be some issue in the network. If that's the uh-huh.
Sir, I don't know.
Okay, in that way, like you can keep your camera, but make sure you guys show active participation in the class. Okay, now when you guys don't
Okay,
ask questions, when you guys don't say yes or no, you guys don't ask questions, then I am in doubt whether you guys are understanding it or not, or whether I am failing to make you guys understand the concepts. Okay, na? Because
okay,
if it
sir.
were to be up to me, I would just complete the lesson, but I try to ensure that you guys also understand the things which we are doing here. Okay, na?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the activity is to show that the innermost zone of the candle flame, it contains unburnt wax vapors. Okay, so you will take a wax candle, fix it on a table. Okay, fix it on a table and light it with a matchstick, obviously, and hold a thin glass tube with a pair of tongs. Like with a pair of tongs, here you can see we are holding it. And where are we holding this? Holding the mouth of the glass tube. Where are we holding it? In the innermost zone. Okay. Now,
Okay, sir.
what you have done, you have brought a lighted matchstick to the other mouth of the glass tube, to the other end of the glass tube. And you will see this will catch fire. You will observe a flame at the other end of the glass tube. Right now. So why are we seeing this flame? There must be something that is burning here now. Right? So actually, some wax vapors came from here. These are the wax vapors coming from the innermost zone of the candle flame. What are these? These are the wax vapors that came from the innermost zone of the candle flame, and that has caught fire, and that you can see in the form of flame. So what does this activity conclude? Sorry. So this activity basically concludes that the innermost zone of the candle flame consists of what?
Unburned wax.
Exactly, unburnt wax vapor. They were not burned, no? That's why when it traveled all the way to here, it caught fire. Right now? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Abu Bakr, please read the given paragraph. It's about the same activity. Okay, no? Like the reason why we were seeing the flame at the other end of the glass tube, it's the explanation to that thing. Okay, and I include the explanations in the PPT so that when you get the PPT, you'll be able to revise it yourself. Okay, so quickly read this.
This can be explained as follows. The innermost zone or dark zone of candle flame near the heated wick consists of unburned wax vapors. Some of these wax vapors enter the glass tube and come out from its other end. When we bring a lighted matchstick near this end of glass tube, the wax vapors coming out of it start burning, producing a flame. This activity shows that the innermost zone, dark zone, or black zone of a candle flame consists of unburned wax vapors.
Assalamu
Okay,
alaikum, sir.
good. You're calling Islam. Where have you been, Aman? That's the first question I'm going
In
to ask.
my
Where have you been?
native place, sir, because of Eid.
Okay, but like Eid is already over like so many days ago.
Sir,
Huh?
because it took, sir, it took us 2 days to travel from there, sir, because we were
Hmm.
traveling by car. And, sir, it was a long 1500 kilometer. Like, sir,
Okay, okay, I understand.
it is
Okay.
from my native place to here. So, sir, it took me 2 days, 2 full days.
Mhm.
And, sir, the rest days, sir, I was in my native place. And, sir, there is no network.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. No worries. But from now on, make sure try to stay consistent in the class. Okay, Aman, because I don't want your classes to get disturbed. I want that you participate in the discussions we are having in the class. You do well in your exam. Okay, so make sure to
Yes, sir.
stay consistent in the class. Okay. Right now we were learning about the structure of the candle, basically structure of the flame. Okay, no. So a flame has three different zones: innermost zone, middle zone, and the outermost zone. Okay.
So the outermost zone is sir, the innermost zone is the hottest. The
No,
outermost zone is
no,
the
no, no,
least
no,
hot.
no, 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 no. Just as of now, just listen to the explanations I'll be providing. Okay, and I will be taking up the doubts and the questions and everything once the explanation will be finished. Okay. Let me just give a quick recap for everyone in the class. Okay, now you also listen, Aman. See,
Yes, sir.
the innermost zone, this dark area that you see over here now, this dark zone, it's the innermost zone. And it's the least hot zone because here combustion is not taking place properly. Okay, na? The wax vapors are not burning properly, they are unburnt. So, because of this, the temperature is very low, it is dark in color, and will be containing unburnt wax vapors. Second is this luminous zone, right now, the bright yellow zone that you see. So, it is moderately hot. Okay, not very hot, not very cold, but moderately hot, yellow in color. And here again, incomplete combustion is happening. Like the wax vapors are not completely burning. It's not 100% burning. It's only like 30, 40, 50% burning. Then comes the outermost zone, and it's the hottest zone. Okay, it's the hottest zone. Why? Because here it has like this zone has access to the air now, right? It is getting good amount of oxygen from the air as it's the outermost zone. So here complete combustion of the wax vapor takes place. Wax vapors are burning properly and it's blue in color, and it's the non-luminous zone because this zone is not giving out light. It's the middle zone. It's the middle zone that gives out light. So the outermost zone is the hottest zone. It's blue in color. Complete combustion is happening, and also this is known as non-luminous zone. Hope that should help you in revising. Like that should have given you the idea about what we are discussing, right? Okay.
Yes,
Next,
sir.
we're going to do an activity, discuss about an activity to show that the luminous zone. Luminous zone is the innermost zone or the middle zone or the outermost. Which zone is this?
The luminous zone.
Sir, the outer.
What are you saying here? No. Outermost. Luminous, you understand? Luminous is something that gives out light. Please, all of you, try to memorize this picture in your mind. Try to grasp this. See, this is the innermost zone that is dark in color. Okay, Abu Bakr? The middle zone that is yellow in color. Okay? And it is also called as luminous zone. And the outermost zone, right? The outermost zone is very thin, by the way. You know, if you burn a candle and you observe the outermost zone, it is very thin in color. It does not give out so much of light. It's a non-luminous zone. So in one of the activity, we showed that the innermost zone contains unburnt wax vapor. Now, in another activity, we are going to show that this luminous zone, that is the middle zone, would be containing unburnt particles of carbon. Okay, now let me actually correct this. Not unburned, but it's actually unburnt particles of carbon. Okay, so let us understand. Let's see how we can show that. Getting it now? So we will take a candle flame. We will take a candle. We will burn it with a matchstick or with a lighter. Okay. Now we will take a clear glass slide. Glass slide, you understand? You will take a clear, transparent glass. Okay, now you will take a clear, transparent glass, or you can take a broken piece of glass from the window, but it should be transparent. Okay, if it is, it will be better. Now with the pair of tongs, you are going to hold it. And where are you going to hold it? We're going to hold it in the luminous part of the flame. Like if I have taken it, I'm not going to hold it over here, not like over here, and not like in the dark zone, but I will be holding it in the middle zone, in the luminous zone. Understood now where you have to hold it? That glass sheet should be held in this part of the flame, not in this and not in this. Okay, now?
Okay, sir.
Now, after a few seconds, like you will be holding it in the same position for about 40 seconds, and then now you'll be removing it. You will observe this circular grayish black ring formed on the glass slide, in which there is no deposition in the middle of ring. In the middle of this ring, there is no deposition of the carbon particles, but around this, you'll be seeing a deposition of carbon, right now. So what is this ring-like structure? Basically, it has been formed due to the deposition of the unburned carbon particles in the luminous zone of the flame. Okay, has anyone done this ever? Like, you can do it on a sheet of paper also, by the way,
Yeah.
but that's not advisable. Yeah.
But then our cooking stuff, I mean,
Hmm.
pan or something, if
Yeah, yeah.
there will be.
It sticks there as well, right now. On the bottom of the cooking utensils,
Yes.
you can see it will become dark. With time, with repeated use, it becomes dark. Getting it now? That's the thing. So why so? Again, because of the unburned carbon particles. If the fuel is not burning properly now, if the fuel is not burning properly, so it will be giving unburned carbon particles. It will be giving unburned carbon particles. Getting it? So that is the thing. Okay. Particularly in the rural areas, when the woman would be burning wood or coal or cow dung cakes to cook the food, So there the cooking utensil would be developing a layer of carbon soot over it. Unburned carbon particles will deposit on the cooking utensil. Particularly when you would be using LPG, there very less amount of carbon deposition will be observed on the outer surface of the cooking utensil. But if you're burning fuel like wood, coal, cow dung cakes, so these are the fuels. When they are burned, these fuels will be releasing so much of unburned carbon particles that will deposit over the cooking utensil. So in this activity, we observe that when this glass slide was placed in the luminous zone of the candle flame, so we observe a grayish black ring formed on the glass slide. This grayish black ring that was formed was basically due to the deposition of unburned carbon particles. Now you may ask, like, why in the middle there is no deposition of the unburned carbon particles? Yeah, because the middle of this was actually touching the outermost zone. And in outermost zone, complete combustion takes place. So that's why in the middle zone, you did not observe any carbon particles. Tell me if this activity is clear to every one of you.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Not getting it. Okay, okay. See, what we are going to do basically, like we will take a candle, we will burn it, we will take a glass slide. You can take a rectangular piece of glass slide. If it is transparent, that will be better. You're going to place it over the luminous zone. You're not going to place it in the outermost zone or in the innermost zone, but it should be in the middle zone of the candle flame. Basically, you're going to place it halfway, okay, na? In the middle of the flame. After a few seconds, what you will observe that unburned carbon particles, you know that when candle would be burning, okay, like when candle burns. So what exactly is burning in it? Yeah, what exactly is burning in it? The wax vapor is burning, right?
Yes, sir.
And other than that, what burns? Carbon particles burns now.
Yes, sir.
This wax gets converted into wax vapor, and this wax also, this candle contains wax and it contains carbon in it, right now. So wax is converting into wax vapor, so it is burning, right? Carbon will also be burning. But in the luminous zone, in the middle zone that you see over here, in this zone, the yellow zone, there the carbon particles are not burning properly. So where will it go? It is basically being released into the atmosphere, into the air now. Where does that carbon, unburned carbon particle goes? It goes into the air, into the surrounding basically. So how can we show that this luminous zone contains unburned carbon particles? Because with your eyes, you cannot see these unburned carbon particles being released into the air. You cannot see it with your bare eyes. But when you place a glass slide in the middle zone like this, after a few seconds, you observe on this glass slide that there will be deposition of carbon particles on it. So that will be observed as this black colored ring. Getting it, all of you? Getting it, Abu Bakr, or not?
Sir, so basically the glass is not burn.
No, the glass is not going to melt. Okay, now the
Sir,
glass.
so then
Hmm.
the black is just a wax vapor.
No, the black deposition here is because of the unburnt carbon particles actually, no? The unburnt, what happened to this? Hold on. See, that's just basically unburnt carbon particles. Getting it? So that is the thing over here. The wax vapor, if you were to talk about the wax vapor, see, in the innermost zone, what we have learned that this will be containing unburnt wax paper. Okay. In the middle zone, that is the luminous zone, here it will be containing unburnt carbon particles. What was found in the innermost zone? Unburnt wax vapors. And what is found over here in the middle zone? Hold on. Is there some background noise coming from my side?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Give me
sir.
a minute. Okay. So what I was saying here, that the innermost zone, we learned why the activity also, that this one contains unburnt wax vapors. Why the wax vapors are not burning properly? Because it is not getting enough amount of air. Right now, it is not getting enough amount of air. So in the innermost part of the flame, the wax vapors are not burning properly. They are unburnt. Then it's not like the only vapors burn. The carbon particles are also released from the candle. No? They will also be burning. Getting it? So in the middle zone, what we are seeing that the carbon particles are not burning properly. Right now, there are some carbon particles which are unburned. Why so? Again, because it is not getting sufficient amount of air. Because in the middle part, no, they're in the middle zone of the candle flame, so it is not getting enough amount of air. Hence, it is unburned. Getting all of you? Getting Abu Bakr?
Yes.
Okay. So that is the thing. Now, third activity is to show that the outermost zone of the candle flame is hottest. It's the hottest. So to show this thing, also you guys know that the goldsmith, if they have to melt a piece of gold, right? So they will be holding that piece of gold in the outermost zone of the candle flame. They will hold it in the blue zone, blue colored part of the candle flame. So to show this, that outermost zone of the candle flame is hottest, we will take a long copper wire. Okay. Give me 1 minute. Actually, no, this diagram is not relevant. So let me just remove it. Otherwise, it will create some confusion. So you will take a long copper wire and hold its one end with a pair of tongs. Introduce the other end of the copper wire just inside the burning candle flame. So it is in the outermost zone. So we have taken a candle. Let's burn this candle. Okay. You are going to take a piece of copper. And where am I holding this copper? In the innermost zone, outermost zone, or in the middle zone? Tell me.
Sir, outer.
Outermost zone. Good. And this I am holding with a pair of tongs, basically. With the help of pair of tongs, I am holding it.
Yes.
And this I have taken a copper wire. Okay. So now in this position, this copper wire will be held for about 30 seconds. Now we will see that the part of the copper wire, which is in the outermost zone of the candle flame, it becomes red hot. So this tells us that the outermost zone, which is also the non-luminous zone of the flame, it has the highest temperature. Okay, no? In other words, the non-luminous zone or the outermost zone of the flame is the hottest part of the flame. Okay. Now, if you have to understand it better, At the same time, you can ask one of your friend to hold the another piece of copper wire of the same length and the thickness in the other zone of the candle flame. Like ask them to hold it in the other zone of the candle flame, during like in the middle zone of the candle flame. So at that time, you will observe that this will not be getting as hot as this copper wire would be getting. Like it will, the part of the candle, part of the copper wire that is held in the middle zone of the candle flame, that will not be becoming as red as this copper wire that is held in the outermost zone of the candle flame will be becoming. Getting it now?
Yes, sir.
And this thing has several application also. Okay, no, this thing has several application also. Okay, so goldsmiths, you know that they would be blowing air with a blowpipe to intensify the kerosene lamp flame for melting and molding the pieces of gold and silver into desired shapes to make jewelry. If you guys have seen how if you guys know about the traditional method of making jewelry, like how the goldsmiths would be traditionally making jewelry. Nowadays, machines are available with the help of which jewelry of different designs can be made. But back in the day, jewelers even today, many jewelers would be making jewelries with their hand. So they will take a kerosene lamp, and with the help of a pipe, they would be blowing air, or with the help of a fan, they would be blowing air into it, so that the lamp flame gets intensified. Okay, no? And particularly which zone of the flame they will be using to melt silver and silver and gold? The outermost zone. Why? Because this is hottest. It's the hottest zone of the candle flame. Again, why it is hottest? One of the reason for it being hottest is that here it is in direct contact with the oxygen. No, it is in direct contact with air, right? And you guys know oxygen is basically a supporter of combustion. No? So if something is burning in sufficient supply of oxygen, it will be burning properly. It will be giving more amount of heat. I hope that much should be clear to all of you. So now you are in a position to answer this question. Answer this. Why do goldsmiths blow at the outermost zone of a flame for melting gold and silver?
Sir, for
Because the outermost
combustion to take
layer
place better
has.
and for the gold and silver to melt.
Okay. Yes, Prinka, what about you?
Like the outermost has direct contact with the air,
Hmm.
so when it gets heated up, so gold and silver gets melted.
Good, good. And particularly the goldsmiths, they would be blowing air to the outermost zone of the candle flame to intensify it. And they will be using that outermost zone as it is hottest right now. And they will be using it to melt silver and gold. Okay, good. Okay, now we are going to learn about the pollution caused by the fuel. Right, a pollution caused by fuel. Okay, so in the chapter so far, let me just give you a quick recap of the things we have learned so far. We learned about combustion. Combustion is a chemical process in which a substance reacts with the oxygen from air to give heat and light. We learned about examples of combustion, like combustion of magnesium, combustion of charcoal. Right now, we learned that combustion even takes place inside our body also. Huh? So what am I saying? Is it true? Combustion takes place inside our body also. Is that true, Priyanka? Aman? Yes, Abu Bakr? Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
It happens now. Like
Yes, sir.
respiration, it's a kind of slow combustion. Remember, kind of slow combustion where the food reacts with the oxygen to give out heat. Right now, respiration is a kind of slow combustion of food which takes place in the body to produce heat energy. Right? Okay, now you guys tell me, in the sun, heat and light are produced due to combustion or due to nuclear reactions?
Nuclear reaction.
Nuclear reactions. Very good. In fact, today
Sir, can I repeat the question?
I was saying that in the sun, heat and light energy is given out due to nuclear reaction or due to combustion? It is due to nuclear reactions, no? Right. In fact, today I saw footage of the surface of the sun getting in. So it is quite fascinating. Okay, now so many solar flares are given out from the surfaces of the sun. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
I also.
Further, you have seen good. Right, and there's a storm on sun also. You guys know there's a storm on sun. Yeah. So
Yes, sir.
storms are common on the sun as well. Getting it now? Like there's a huge emission of the plasma from the sun. So many solar flares would be given out. Okay, little explosions takes place on the surface of the sun. That's the thing. By the way, I have one question from you. What do you guys think? Like, what would be the temperature of the sun? Make a guess about the temperature of the sun. Like, hmm?
Sir, more than 550.
550 watt, like
Yeah.
Celsius
degree.
or what? No, it's way more than that. It's in fact 10 times that. In
Oh,
fact, the temperature, if you were to talk about the not the core, but the surface, like this is the core. I'm talking about only the surface. So the surface temperature. Okay, I will give you guys some
So like
options.
12 million Celsius,
No, not that much,
14
not that
million
much.
Celsius.
No, not that much. It is in thousand, by the way. Okay, no. So it is it 5600 degrees Celsius? Is it 15,600 degrees Celsius? No, it is actually the first one, 5600 degrees Celsius, or that is roughly around 10,000 degree Fahrenheit. Okay, no? So it is quite like it is very much getting it. Yeah. Further in the chapter, we learned about combustible and non-combustible substances. Right, combustible substances are those that would be easily catching fire. Right now, like cooking gas like LPG, kerosene oil, petrol, wood, etc. They're easily catching fire. But on the other hand, non-combustible substances are like glass, stone, soil, sand, water, iron, copper objects. They do not catch fire easily. Further, we also learned about the necessary conditions for combustion. Okay, you guys are going to tell me what are the three necessary conditions for combustion. Yeah, answer this fast.
ignition temperature.
Ignition temperature.
Okay, sir.
Pronounce it
Ignition
again.
temperature.
Sir, ignition temperature,
Hmm?
flammable substance, and oxygen.
Good, good. Okay. Then further, we have learned about some activities also to show how air is a supporter of combustion, etc. Right? Okay. Then later in the chapter, we did learn about matchstick also. Right now, we learned about the history of matchstick. Getting like it was developed only about how many years? 5,000 years, right? But the modern safety matchsticks were developed only about 200 years. Getting it now? Okay. Now you guys tell me which chemical is no longer used in the matchstick. It is highly poisonous. It was dangerous for the workers
Sir,
who
white
were
phosphorus.
engaged. That's correct. It was white phosphorus. Okay. Also, white phosphorus goes through spontaneous combustion. Now, remember, it catches fire on its own at the room temperature. So then later on,
Yes,
we
sir.
also learned about different types of combustion. What are the three different types of combustion we have learned about? Tell me.
Rapid combustion.
Huh?
Sir,
Explosive
Hmm.
combustion.
Explosive combustion, rapid combustion, and one more.
Spontaneous combustion.
simultaneous combustion.
Spontaneous, you should be saying.
Yes,
Abdul Bakar.
spontaneous combustion.
Spontaneous combustion. Okay. Then we learned like how we can control the fire. Right now. So fire can be controlled in various methods. By it can be basically there are three different things, three principal thing that needs to be taken. Like a fire needs three things to be present: fuel, air or oxygen, basically, and heat. So by removing all these three things or one of these three things, you can control fire. Okay, now so we can remove the combustible substance, we can remove the heat. As we remove the heat, basically we lower the ignition temperature. Right now we lower the ignition temperature. Right, when water is thrown on a burning substance, it gets cooled below its ignition temperature, and thereby it will stop burning. Because if the ignition temperature is not reached, how can a fuel catch fire? Right, the ignition temperature is required. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But suppose if the fire has been produced by burning oil and petrol or due to electricity, there water is not recommended to use. Right, we learned about that. Further, we also learned that we can cut off the air supply also. Right, like the electrical fires, they are extinguished by using carbon dioxide gas fire extinguisher. And we also have
Yes.
learned that you can obtain carbon dioxide gas from different methods. One is using the carbon dioxide gas cylinder that contains carbon dioxide, and basically it contains liquid carbon dioxide in it. Okay. Then we also have learned that you can use baking soda right now, that is sodium bicarbonate and potassium bicarbonate. These powders you can take, you can just throw it above the fire, it will release carbon dioxide. Getting it, guys? Today I was watching a video. There has been some fire in a place, in some like ocean, or where exactly was it, I don't know. um, People were basically throwing some chemical substances over that fire. That chemical substances must have contained, I think that must have contained like potassium bicarbonate in it, or maybe sodium bicarbonate, because when they are released into the fire, they releases carbon dioxide. Right, Priyanka, Aman, and Abu Bakr? Getting it? By the way, today there has been a very unfortunate incident. You guys know about that?
So what?
Today, a very unfortunate accident has happened in Ahmedabad. A flight crashed in Ahmedabad.
Yeah.
It was
Yes,
carrying
sir.
242
200.
passengers.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. And like the updates are not there, but maybe only one or two people have survived in that. Okay. The news that we are getting, like so far, only one survivor has been found. Okay. So it was basically Air India flight. Getting it?
Next time, probably I would go in Air India only.
Oh, see, actually, the thing is now, Air India, what basically there's a fault of the government in this also. Getting it? There's a big fault
Yes.
of the government in this also. I saw some of the videos, like the there were some videos of that same flight, that same aeroplane. Okay, of the different passengers. Okay, not those passengers who unfortunately have died. Okay. So they were complaints of the air conditioners not working, the monitors not working. Getting it? So there were several issues in that. Okay. So actually the
Yes, sir.
government has imposed so much of taxes now, because of which these companies are not
Yes.
maintaining their aeroplanes. They are cost cutting basically. So if the aeroplanes are not being maintained, obviously these things are going to happen. Getting it? Basically it's related to privatization. Okay, no? When these big things like aviation, in the aviation industry, when like Air India, it has been sold. Okay, na? It has been sold to, I guess, Ambani for 18,000 crore or something, if I'm correct. Anyways, in India, like so many things are messed up. Okay, now there have been derailments. Derailments are very often derailment. You guys understand, no? The railways would be
Yes,
getting off
sir.
from the track. So because of that, also many people die. Bridges would be collapsing. Hmm. And now this incident. So the infrastructure in India, day by day, it is becoming poorer and poorer. It gets worse. Okay. Anyways, so talking about fuel pollution now. So obviously, when fuel will be burned, some unwanted substances are released. Right now, Those unwanted substances are like carbon dioxide gas, carbon monoxide gas. Then it will be releasing so many unburned carbon particles in the air. And when humans will be inhaling these things, it will lead to respiratory problems. So the burning of the fuels like wood, coal, and petroleum produces products releases unburned carbon particles in the air. Okay, and that will be causing respiratory problem. Getting it? So what will happen? Those unburned carbon particles, if it is inhaled by the person, it can go into your throat. It can stick to your windpipe, and thereby it will lead to infection. It will lead to respiratory diseases. Okay. Further, when the fuel is not burning properly, when the incomplete combustion of the fuel takes place, so it will produce different type of gases, particularly in insufficient supply of air. A poisonous gas called as carbon monoxide is given, in short written as capital C and capital O. It is a toxic gas. Okay, no? And if this gas is inhaled by the people in so much of quantity, then it can be very lethal. The person can die in their sleep. So it happens many times in the villages, particularly in the winters, that in the closed room they would be burning some wood or coal to keep themselves warm. And the ventilation, if the ventilation in the room is very poor, so this carbon monoxide gas is given out because of incomplete combustion of the fuel. Okay, and when the incomplete combustion of fuel will happen, when the fuel does not get enough amount of air, so this gas will be released. Okay, so it can lead to death also. Further, in general, burning of the fuel releases carbon dioxide into the air also. In general, any fuel, it will be releasing some amount of carbon dioxide. Okay, some of them will be releasing less, some of them will be releasing more, but almost every fuel releases carbon dioxide into the air, and that is the leading cause of global warming. Okay, today the temperature for example, the temperature of Delhi today, it was around like 49 or 50 or maybe 50, 51 degrees Celsius. That was the temperature of New Delhi today. Getting it? Okay, no?
Yes.
So why there has been rise in temperature all around the world? Hmm? Obviously because of global warming, right?
Yeah.
So there has been rise in the increasing concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, right? Because of the various human activities, because of the burning of the fossil fuels, right? No, because of the greenhouse effect, the earth has naturally has a greenhouse effect where gases like carbon dioxide, water vapor, methane, when it goes into the atmosphere, it will trap the sun's energy and it will keep the planet warm enough. Okay, but what happens if so much of these gases are being released into the atmosphere? So it will trap excessive amount of heat from the sunlight right now. So due to that, there'll be overall rise in the temperature of the earth. Getting it, guys? Now, over here, you guys can see that from different sources, okay, now, in the last 200 years, from the different sources, you can look at the emission of carbon, right now, from the petroleum, coal, natural gas, from cement production, right? From these different things, so much of carbon is released into the air. Getting it, guys? From the chimneys, so much of carbon dioxide and many other gases are being released. So because of that, this problem is arising. So the main culprit over here are unburned carbon particles released due to the burning of wood, coal, candle, and petroleum. And other than that, we also learn there are poisonous gases like carbon monoxide, then carbon dioxide, some other gases like methane also. So these are bad for the environment. Okay, now particularly the unburned carbon particles, these are very small in size. Okay, now, and they are considered dangerous pollutants, particularly responsible for respiratory diseases like asthma. Many people suffer from asthma, particularly people that are working in the coal mines. Right now, they would be inhaling lots of coal dust particles. Right, people working in the unorganized sector, people working in the small domestic industries. Getting it? Where where basically like For example, in the plastic processing industry, in the glass manufacturing, the bangle manufacturing industries, where a big furnace is lit up, right? And in order to lit that big furnace, you getting what I'm trying to say, Priyanka and Abu Bakr? In many of the
No, sir.
not getting it. See, I'm basically trying to say that many people suffer from asthma, particularly the workers who are working in unorganized factory. Like there are so many small factories where there's no safety standard, where there's no uh, proper machinery, there's safety is not taken care of them. Like, what do you guys think? Like, how are the bangles manufactured? Bangles, you understand? Women would be wearing bangles on their hand, right?
Yes.
So are they being manufactured in big fancy industries, or in a small unorganized small cottage type of industry? Obviously they are being manufactured in a small unorganized areas where there's no safety standard, right? There's no proper machinery. Getting it? So how do they manufacture bangles? They would be collecting so many pieces of glasses. They will heat it up in a furnace, and in order to light the furnace, they will not heat up the furnace by using LPG or some other fuel, but rather they will use waste materials. Right now, waste materials would be used to lit up that furnace. Getting it?
Yes.
And there so much of unburned carbon particles, so much of pollutants will be released that will be posing danger to the health of the workers that are working there. So unburned carbon particles are very, very bad for the respiratory health. Talking about carbon dioxide, it's a poisonous gas which is produced by incomplete combustion of fuels. When fuel is not burning in sufficient supply of air, like it is dangerous to burn coal in a closed room, as the carbon monoxide produced can kill people sleeping in that room. We have already learned about these things. Okay. Further, if you were to look at this thing, like first of all, we discover the resources right now, like in so and so places, this much of carbon, this much of coal has been found, this much of petroleum has been found. Then we extract it right now, either by mining or either by drilling. We get it out of the earth, then we burn it, and then due to burning of those fossil fuel, so much of harmful substances, gases like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, methane, etc., are released into the air that leads to pollution. So that gives you an idea about the life cycle of the fuel. They are first discovered, extracted from the earth, they are burned and leads to pollution. Getting it now? Okay. Why you guys are not saying anything?
Yes, sir.
Talking about the wood, wood has been used as a domestic and industrial fuel for so many years. For several centuries, it has been used. Even now, it is used. In rural part
Yes,
of the country, like here in India, people still use wood as a fuel due to its low cost and easy availability. Mm. But the burning of wood as a fuel has so many disadvantages. Some of the disadvantages of burning wood as a fuel are as follows. It will release so much of unburned carbon particles. It will be releasing carbon monoxide, right now. Then it will release gases like nitrogen oxides. Getting it? And all of these are harmful for the environment. All of these are harmful for the environment. Okay, now talking about the global warming. The rise in the average temperature of the Earth's atmosphere due to the release of carbon dioxide on combustion of fuel, that is termed as global warming. So what is basically happening over here? From different sources, from different places on Earth, we are seeing that gases are being released, harmful gases are being released. Let's say that this is our Earth. Okay. Due to human activities on Earth, like burning of fossil fuel, gases being released from the chimney of the factory, etc., from the domestic activities, so much of gases are being released into the air. So gases like carbon dioxide. Gases like methane. Then also gases like water vapor. Water vapor also is responsible for global warming, by the way. Okay, no? Then further gases like carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide. Now, these gases which I have listed here, na, they are called as greenhouse gases. What do we call them, Abu Bakr?
Greenhouse gas.
Greenhouse gases. Now let us understand like why do we call them? Okay. Sometimes you guys might have seen this house whose roof is made up of glass, or the entire structure may be made up of glass. And
I have
inside that
seen in movies.
you have
Seen in movies.
in movies. Okay. You know what do we call that? We call it as greenhouse. Are there people living inside it? Obviously no. Actually, there are plants that are grown
Plants.
there. Exactly. So plants are grown inside it. Okay. In the off season, different plants can be grown. And even if the season of that plant has gone, but inside the greenhouse, that a particular kind of plant can be grown here. So you know that a certain type of plants requires warm and humid condition. Requires warm and humid conditions. So that is available only in the summer, no? But in the winter season, you can grow it how? So basically, you have constructed a house entirely made of glass, and see that these are the sunlight that is falling here. Okay, and even in the winter, like some amount of sunlight is falling on it. The sunlight will enter inside the house. Okay, now the sunlight will be entering inside the house, but the heat energy from the sunlight is trapped by the roof, by the glass, particularly by the roof. Okay, now by the glass roof, the heat energy is trapped. Heat from the sunlight is trapped, and it cannot escape from the greenhouse now. So the internal temperature of the greenhouse increases, right? And now the plants can grow here. Plants even in the winter can grow here. So what is this glass roof doing here? It is trapping the heat from the sunlight, increasing the temperature inside of the the internal temperature of the greenhouse increases, and hence you can grow plants even in the winters. Got it on both of you? Something similar happens
Yes,
here
sir.
as well. So that these are the sunlight that is falling towards Earth. When these gases are being released into the atmosphere, they would be trapping heat energy from the sunlight, and it is good for the Earth. But nowadays, the amount of the greenhouse gases has increased so much that extra amount of heat is being trapped by them. Right now, and you see why we're calling them as greenhouse gases, because these gases are working in a similar manner, just like the greenhouse works. Hence, the name greenhouse gases. Okay. So that is why they are like kind of co-related. So that is why there is a rise in temperature. And because of the global warming, there will be melting of the polar ice caps. The rainfall pattern will change. The coastal areas will get flooded. So that is all about global warming. One more topic is the acid rain. So you guys know that from the because of the human activities, particularly from the factories, gases like sulfur dioxide, gases like nitrogen oxides, this emission of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide, right, from the various human activities, particularly from the chimneys of the factories. When these gases are released into the air, they will be, and at the same time, suppose if precipitation is happening, there's a rainfall. So the water molecules will be mixing together with the gases like sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide, which in result will lead to production of acids. What kind of acid? Like this one is sulfuric acid. This one right over here is nitric acid, right? So due to various human activities, gases like sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides are being released into the air. When they get mixed with rainwater, they get converted into sulfuric acids, nitric acids, etc. And it will be very harmful. It will be having harmful effect on the plants, on the fishes, right? And even on the infrastructure, as it will be falling on the buildings, so it will damage the surfaces of the building. Particularly, so many monuments have been damaged because of the acid rain. Okay, particularly monuments like Taj Mahal have turned pale yellow in color because of acid rain. So here we conclude the chapter. Okay, one more topic, like basically how to conserve the fuel, right? So to conserve the fuel, we should collect all metals required while cooking at one place before switching on the gas, right? There are some small steps that you can take. Okay, even if you conserve like 100 gram of fuel, so you have done some you have made your contribution. Okay, no, check the pressure of tires regularly so that you don't, because if the pressure in the tires of the vehicles is not maintained, so you will have to spend extra amount of fuel to run the vehicle. Choose walking over using cars or motorbikes for short distances. Use public transportation for traveling instead of private vehicles, like take a bus, take a metro instead of traveling from the private vehicles. So here we have concluded the chapter. In the upcoming class, we will do some questions. Okay, no? If you guys happen to have any questions, please let me know. By the way, Abu Bakr, right now you're having a extra class with the chapter sound, right? Okay, no? So you'll be staying. Pinka,
Yes.
you can exit the class. Do we have that class in the same link? Let me check that. 1 minute. Let me check if that will be on the same link. Okay, Priyanka, you have any questions from
Sir,
today's
should I
class?
leave?
Yeah, like we are going to have an extra class
No, sir.
for the sound chapter. If you wish, you can continue, but that's going to be a lengthy class, by the way. 87
sir.
triple 9. Yeah, this will be on the same link. Okay.